Hello, everybody. This is Taco Movie Talks Part 4A. This was something that I had originally planned to do with a guest host. Um, Timing did not work out. However, possibly something that could happen in the future. And again, if you yourself would like to recommend a movie, I would be totally open to that. That would be amazing. And if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. It's going to be a very truncated episode. Just one movie to go over, and that one movie is Hoop Dreams by Stephen James, 1994. And this is probably, in my mind, one of the top regarded sports documentaries that I have seen on Letterboxd or anything else. Definitely very high rated, has a lot of high ratings from other users and critics alike, but it's because it tells the story possibly in the most effective way. So obviously this is a basketball documentary about two kids going into their freshman year of high school, Arthur Aggie and Clyde. Let me check it real quick just because I don't want to get the names wrong, but Curtis Gates. So both of them are talented at basketball and go to Illinois's most prominent basketball school, and it follows them throughout their entire high school basketball career. And there's certainly a lot of ups and downs where me watching it felt like you could see things unravel at an amazing velocity, honestly. Um, the first year, one of the kids is basically not able to meet the financial responsibilities, or not him, but his family is not able to pay tuition. So he has to go back to a Chicago public school, and that's actually him right there in the Marshall jersey. That is the school that he ends up playing for midway through his sophomore year until senior year, and then the other student gets financial support via a higher up at the Britannica Institute, I believe, like uh, Encyclopedia Britannica. She works for that company, and she had a name that actually sounded somewhat recognizable, but so I'm not sure if maybe she is still prominent today. But anywho, he gets financial backing, which allows him to stay there. And one thing that I found is throughout the entire film, you very much compare the two students who are being followed in this documentary. But once I came out of it, I started to look at it slightly differently, and I'll get to that after I finish up the summary of this documentary. So it goes on sophomore year. I think after the sophomore year is a huge year because the student who was able to stay at this, Catholic school, I believe it's Curtis, is the student who ends up having a baby going into junior year. It seems like Curtis is the one who is the better of the two, and that he got financial backing because he was better. He played on the varsity team as a freshman, whereas Arthur didn't. He was a little bit, you could tell he was going to grow, but he was undersized as a freshman, where you could see he clearly hadn't hit his growth spurt yet. So it there did seem to be a little bit of picking and choosing, where the good athlete got the support needed and the other one kind of got left in the dust because he wasn't quite ready to help the team yet. So that was something that when looking into comparisons between these two, it's like one got a shot because of the talent that they can offer to the school, and the other wasn't able to offer that yet. So he didn't get that same luxury, despite the fact, and not that, having a teenage pregnancy is anything to say is bad, but the student who stayed there, you kind of expect him to stay on the straight and narrow because of the school, or that I would think people who support Catholic schools via funding would be really looking down on that, but surprisingly, no, they get him hooked up with a job, and then even Curtis's brother gets a job there too, which is another character that I'll get into after the summary. And then junior year, Curtis tears his, I think it's his meniscus, is really sore on it, and tries to come back for playoffs, but makes one game, and ultimately his comeback effort was not enough to get the very heavily favored in a school that has talked up a whole bunch throughout the whole thing through to the next round of playoffs. And Marshall, the school of Arthur Aggie, is not able to do very well either. Then Curtis gets his meniscus, I believe, and I could be wrong because I don't know if you could get your meniscus removed and your knee still function properly, but they definitely did some type of removal in his knee that they said would affect Curtis later on in life, but it would eliminate it sort of as an issue for his playing now. And Curtis is able to get his team to the playoffs, same with Arthur. But the huge twist is, the school that is they both really wanted to go to, felt like would be the best opportunity for them, loses first round. Curtis, the player who was pretty much seen as the better of the two freshman year. Not that it was his responsibility, but you would imagine he would be able to carry the team, for lack of a better term, is one game and out. And he even had to sit because he came to the game late, or was in the locker room late. And then Arthur's team pretty much makes it to like the state like semifinals. I think they were a game away, perhaps, from winning the state championship or getting to the state championship. So it was amazing to see the that sometimes you really can't. Maybe there are different things to look into as far as what's going to make a good player in the future. Overall, I mean, it's like 30 for 30 level content before 30 for 30. And I think a lot of people have said this, and I would have to wholeheartedly agree. The time span of the coverage is that's what you need to have a compelling story. I think for sports fans, there was it's a documentary series for quarterbacks in high school. I think they're generally seniors before they go to college, and I'm blanking on the name right now, but it's definitely a really interesting series. And even picking the seniors, they've picked some people whose stories aren't necessarily the most interesting for after high school. Not that they follow them that far, but if you could have the foresight to look at football athletes as freshmen, which is probably impossible unless you get like a famous athlete's brother now, or like LeBron James, his son, and you're just convince them to let you document them, or what have you. And like if you could get like TJ Watt as a freshman in high school, I'm sure that would, that's a surefire, hey, this kid's gonna have an explosive high school career. Probably not as interesting as these people, Curtis and Arthur, because they were very much inner city. A lot of drugs, a lot of gang violence where they grew up, very much in the projects of Chicago, which, in the 90s was definitely not good, and it's definitely not great now either. Getting a chance in this Catholic school and how your chances kind of can slip by based on things that, I mean, it's not, it doesn't seem fair, but that is life. And coming out of the movie, I felt the most interesting comparisons to make were Arthur's dad and Curtis's brother, who were both talented in their own right, and you kind of get to see the after effect of this is kind of what happens when your skill can't take you any further, where crack addiction, employment issues, and, not to sound harsh, but an unfulfilling life in some aspects. So overall, you get the whole rounded out vision of this, and I think that is what elevates it above, even the 30 for 30s that I've said. But I'm a big basketball fan. That's why I wanted to watch this. It's a longer runtime, but it really, the pacing was tremendous, to the point where, like, I think the first 30 to 45 minutes, you get through freshman year and sophomore year, and I was watching it with my girlfriend. I'm like, what in the hell are they gonna do with the other, like, 2 hours of this movie? It's like we're halfway through their high school career. How are they gonna pad the runtime to get this to how many minutes they had? But I'm telling you, I mean, it there's really no slow points at all, and anything that it does say was worth saying in the end. So I really appreciated that it doesn't waste your time whatsoever, and I hope I didn't waste your time with this video. This isn't this could be a reoccurring thing where certain movies are kind of taken out of the main video for the week, especially if can get co-hosts and guest hosts. So something to look out for. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, please. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all the comments, and I did reach out to everyone who left one. If you would like to make a recommendation for a movie or you would like to guest host, definitely sound off below, because I will be looking into that. And I hope that your next week is your best week. And I really appreciate you checking out this video. So I will see you on the flippity floop. Bye, y'all.